I offer a sharp, dismissive scoff. I tell that ridiculous system of mine to repeat its nonsense if it dares. It actually wants me to train those hopeless cases at the Imperial Academy. Those pampered rich boys whose reputations for laziness are legendary across the city. I have to wonder if it has developed a severe brain injury, or perhaps it's my own brain that has suddenly stopped working. The system retorts that it's all my fault for being such a penny pincher. It mocks me for making so much money, only to buy my own house from some budget online bargain bin. It laughs about how a single typhoon, followed by a slight chill, would be enough to do me in. The system giggles and tries to butter me up. It reminds me that in my past life, I was the most notorious drill sergeant those soldiers had ever feared. Everyone used to shake in their boots at the mere sight of me. Now it insists that training a bunch of spoiled brats should be absolutely effortless for me. I clarify what it's really asking of me. If I want to return to my glorious life of doing absolutely nothing, I have to stop a coup in the Prime Minister's residence and turn that pack of useless young masters into a legendary squad of elite warriors. The system calls me a genius with a sickeningly sweet tone. I curse under my breath at the sheer absurdity of it all. I summon my attendant with a sharp call. My attendant answers with a startled, shaky voice. I tell them we are heading straight for the Imperial Academy. I ask what kind of trial I need to face to secure the instructor position for Class A. I need to know exactly what kind of hoops they want me to jump through. The examiner tells me that if I want to teach Class A, I have to prove my worth by trading a few blows with him. He dares me to withstand just 3 of his strikes, promising that I'll get the job if I manage it, and then he lunges at me. I stand over him and calmly ask if I'm qualified for the job now. I overhear them whispering that the new female teacher might actually know how to fight. They find it annoying and decide that if I dare step foot inside, they'll just drive me right back out. They prepare a bucket of water, filthy mud from the back hill swamp, and even toss in a grass snake to finish the prank. They cackle, imagining me screaming in terror. Someone suggests I should come back another day, looking worried. I sigh heavily, feeling like the universe is testing my patience. Laughter erupts around me like they've just pulled off the joke of the century. I hold up the snake, dryly noting that it's quite a charming welcome gift. I introduce myself as Teacher Yu, and announce that as of today, I am their new martial arts instructor. I firmly instruct them to call me Teacher Yu. They sneer and ask why they should ever listen to a woman. Their mockery echoes, sounding like a chorus of uneducated geese. They mutter that I'm just a woman, questioning if I think I'm actually important. More laughter breaks out, louder and more arrogant than before. I call out to Wu Shi, watching as the room descends into chaos. They complain that their legs feel weak and won't obey them. I mockingly ask if they'd like me to come over and give them a massage. They call out to Ba Shi, mocking the situation further. I ask them, with a dangerous edge, if they are ready to head to the training grounds now. They tell me to be smart and get lost, calling me a loudmouth hag. I stare at them, my patience finally reaching its limit. I let out a soft, ominous hum of warning. I ask the Crown Prince if he's still feeling sleepy after that wake-up call. He shouts a petty curse, wishing me a lifetime of loneliness. I tell him his concern is entirely unnecessary. I order them, once more, to get up and march to the training field. I watch them, noting how they can't even stand properly. They can't even manage a simple, straight line. I can't help but call them a bunch of useless waste. I ask them exactly what they think this Imperial Academy is meant to be. Do they really think it's just a place to inherit titles and lounge around? I tell them they are dead wrong. This is a place to forge the nation's pillars. This is where they learn to protect our vast lands and people. Their fathers bled on the battlefield to earn their honors. The legacy they currently enjoy, not to be squandered by parasites like them. One of them shouts that I only got this job through pure luck at the sign-up desk. He demands to know why they should listen to someone like me. He challenges me to head to the Wansho cave and bag a wild tiger if I'm so capable. He scoffs, wondering if I'm scared to take the dare. I ask them, with a smirk, if they're the ones actually afraid. I remind them that there is only one tiger in that cave anyway. I tell them fine, we meet at the training ground tomorrow at dawn. I make it clear that I won't be waiting for anyone who shows up late. Laughter erupts again, though it sounds a bit forced this time. I command Donghua to get down on his knees. I tell him to bark like a dog 3 times. And then the third prince laughs, promising to spare him if he obeys. My system suddenly alerts me to a high-threat target nearby. I look at this small, bratty child, the one destined to be the source of our country's future destruction. I step in and tell the kids to listen up. I ask them to do me a small favor and let him go, but they just demand to know who I think I am. They tell me to be smart and get lost while I still can. The prince is shocked that I would actually dare to strike him. I coldly order him to offer an apology. He snaps that I shouldn't even dream of such a thing. I don't leave him a choice, and he stammers an apology, repeating it over and over in terror. I offer a sharp, cold scoff at his sudden change of heart. Their laughter echoes, though it sounds more like nervous rattling than genuine joy. I turn my attention to the others, asking if they have anything to add to the comedy. The 9th prince bows his head, begging the 3rd prince for mercy in a shaky voice. They swear they will never dare act out again, their courage evaporating at record speed. I wave a hand dismissively, telling them not to worry about it. The 3rd prince cuts in, claiming he was merely teaching his younger brother some manners. He adds that the emperor really ought to be thanking him for the favor. The system pipes up in my head, asking what I am possibly finding so funny. I tell it nothing at all, just a passing thought. I am just remembering a naughty little kid I crossed paths with a long time ago. Since the prince has graciously accepted their apology, I tell them they are free to get lost, and I do mean right now. I call out for them to wait a second before they scramble away. I suggest that in a few days, they might feel the urge to come looking for some payback. I tell them not to be scared, as I am not saying they are forbidden from trying. I just think it is only polite to introduce myself first. I am Teacher Yu, the new martial arts instructor at the 5th Academy. If they want to settle a score, they can find me there if they really want to pursue their revenge. I suggest they bring along a few more friends next time, and promise that I will be waiting for them whenever they are ready. The 9th prince whispers my name, a strange mix of fear and warning in his eyes. He tells me I should make sure to stay alive long enough to regret this. I watch the little villain and realize that if he stays in the scholarly wing, he is only going to grow up more twisted and bitter from all the bullying. It might be better to drag him over to the martial arts wing instead, where I can keep a close eye on his progress. He simply cannot keep enduring such treatment in the study hall. I ask him if he has ever considered joining my academy instead. He looks at me, noting that I helped him out today, and warns me that they are never going to let this go. I let out a scoff. They really do love their dramatic warnings. It is quite the coincidence, because I had absolutely no intention of letting them off the hook either. I toss him some medicine meant for bruises and muscle tears, and tell him to go home and rub it in himself. I tell him to think about it carefully, and come find me at the 5th Academy once he has made up his mind. I cannot help but wonder what he is actually plotting. I offer a sarcastic little wave as the scene shifts. The system informs me that tonight, a secret meeting at the Prime Minister's residence concerns my sister and the Crown Prince's marriage. It insists that I absolutely must put a stop to it. I lazily ask what happens if I decide not to stop it. It tells me nothing much will happen, aside from our whole family being executed in the most brutal way imaginable, and our graves being struck by lightning for good measure. I tell the system it really needs to work on its delivery and stop with the dramatic pauses. It laughs at my frustration, which is just wonderful. My family decides it is settled, then. They plan for my third sister to enter the Eastern Palace. I object immediately, shouting that we cannot let my sister marry into the Eastern Palace. They ask me why I am being so difficult about it. I scramble for an excuse, claiming that my sister was born in the year of the monkey, and the crown prince was born in the year of the dragon, so being together will inevitably give them sore throats. Or something like that. They stare at me, repeating my ridiculous claim about sore throats. I tell them to just come here, right now. I threaten that I am going to make their heads ache for real if they keep this up. They have been like this since we were kids, getting annoyed whenever I try to keep them out of trouble. I ask them if they are just too attached to the idea of ruin. My sister snaps back, telling me to go marry into the Eastern Palace myself if I want to. She claims that if I become the crown princess, I will be the future empress, so I won't have to worry about keeping lovers on the side, because I can have as many as I want. I think to myself that I am actually half tempted by that offer. The system reminds me that the male lead has some ridiculous plot armor, and that if I marry him, I will meet a truly miserable end. It asks what I am thinking about now. I tell it that the secrets of heaven are not for sharing. I decide to just cook up a dream, hoping to scare them into giving up this ridiculous coup idea. I tell my sister that yesterday, I dreamt she married the crown prince, only for him to fall for the grand tutor's daughter instead. After she tries and fails to frame her, she is forced to drink poisoned wine by the crown prince. Then, our whole family's involvement in the rebellion is exposed. And in the end, we all end up dead and ruined. I ask them if they are scared yet, playing it up for all it's worth. I had a dramatic laugh to drive the point home. I realize I forgot to finish the tragic part about our total annihilation. I ask if my story is funny, laughing again to make it sound even more unhinged. My sister brushes it off, saying it is just a silly dream. She asks how I can possibly believe something so foolish. She points out that our Yu family has deep roots in the imperial court. So how could we possibly fall to ruin so easily? I insist that the dream felt terrifyingly real, and that I am genuinely afraid for us. My brother mocks me, wondering how our family ended up with such a coward. He says even the emperor has to show us a bit of respect, so why should I care about what the tutor's daughter does? I throw my hands up. Well, fine then. That is the classic villain speech, but I don't want to be any kind of princess. I just want our family to stay safe and sound. I beg them to just give up on this rebellion business already. The system asks how I managed to pull that off. I tell it the garlic in the pickle jar was just stinging my eyes, forcing out a few real tears. I tell the system to just drop it. I am exhausted. My eldest brother rushes over, begging me not to cry. He declares that we will scrap the whole rebellion plan right now. My brother nods and agrees to follow my lead, just like that. They actually decided to call off the rebellion. Is it really that fast? That simple? Well, this is certainly unexpected. My father remarks that seeing me terrified over a dream about Lin Yair, my father immediately orders that Lin Yair be taken care of permanently. The system gasps, warning me that a key character has been removed. The entire timeline is collapsing right before my eyes. I see my own obituary. Apparently, I only lasted until 18. My father sighs, telling me I have truly let him down. I quickly backtrack, saying I was actually just testing their resolve. I remind them that our Yu family is a centuries-old aristocratic house. We cannot possibly back down just because of a single dream. I turn to my eldest and second brothers with a look of feigned disappointment. I tell them they have disappointed me beyond words. My second brother insists he was just trying to soothe me earlier. He claims he is definitely not the type to fear death or value his own life too highly. I realize with a jolt that the system's plot prompts were actually true. These people really did intend to eliminate the protagonist. I decide to double down, telling them I have a confession. I admit that I have long harbored grand ambitions of my own. My sister looks confused, asking about my earlier claims. She reminds me that I just said I had no interest in being a princess. I confirm that, indeed, I do not want to be a mere princess. Because I have my sights set on something much larger. They stare at me, demanding to know what I am talking about. I laugh, letting the absurdity sink in. I tell them clearly that I want to be the one and only empress of this dynasty. Their laughter echoes, sounding slightly unhinged. They repeat the word empress, as if testing the taste of it. I repeat it back to them. Yes, I am going to be the empress. I will conquer this entire empire myself. I realize my entire family is made of absolute madmen. They seem to think that makes me even crazier than the rest of them. A woman ascending the throne? Anyone hearing that would call it pure insanity. I think that should be enough to scare them into stopping this mess. I suggest that if they are scared, they should just give up on the rebellion. I am waiting for them to tell me it's all over. I thought I was just acting like a lunatic for effect, but it turns out my family is legitimately, clinically insane. This plot is going in a direction I never could have predicted. They burst into maniacal laughter. My brother cheers, saying that when I ascend to the throne, his elite cavalry camp will instantly change its name to the Yu family army. They will become my personal guard, he promises. He vows that if anyone dares to object, he will personally trample them into the dust. He declares that our sister was never meant to be confined to a simple life. Being an empress is a fantastic goal, 100 times more impressive than being some boring princess. My other brother says my vision is remarkable, and that he feels ashamed to even compare himself to me. He adds that this is a great development, since he has never seen a woman take the throne in all his years. He says that since I have such grand ambitions, I should definitely be the only empress in history. The entire family pledges their full, unwavering support. I am thinking, what on earth is happening right now? Are they all actually insane? I was just babbling complete nonsense, and they somehow decided to take it seriously. What kind of dangerous people is my family actually composed of? I turn to my father, the head of the house. He is the current prime minister, a man known for being the most stable and sensible of them all. He surely won't let these little rascals just carry on with this nonsense. I tell him to please, for heaven's sake, scold them into their senses. Instead, he smiles and says my ambition is exactly what a child of his should have. He suggests that if the Yu family truly produces an empress, it will bring great glory to all our ancestors. He cheers for me, telling me he supports my dreams. I am stunned. Is this supposed to be happening? This is definitely not right. They are genuinely all in, and they are marching the entire family straight to the executioner's block. If our ancestors were watching this from the afterlife, they would be so furious they'd break right out of their coffins. My brother declares that since the plan is set, my sister will infiltrate the Eastern Palace as planned. She will secretly map out the power structures and their core secrets. We divide the tasks amongst ourselves, vowing to be absolutely flawless in our execution. When the useless emperor finally kicks the bucket, and after the new heir takes the throne, we will strike while his foundation is still shaky, using the pretext of purging the corrupt officials to set things right in the name of the state, and eventually help my little sister ascend to the throne. They all erupt into raucous laughter. They call it a brilliant, flawless plan. They praise my brother for his deep and far-reaching wisdom. I listen as they get themselves worked up into a fever pitch. They are already rushing off to start the preparations. They swear to kill anyone who dares to stand in our way. My brother says no one will get away with bullying his sister. More laughter fills the room. My father softly murmurs my name, Lulu. I tell them not to be afraid, with a faint, mocking chuckle. They look at me as if deeply moved by my supposedly selfless display. Since you are all so stubbornly insistent on this path, I offer up an admittedly half-baked suggestion. It might just be a safer way to handle this mess. My family seems to think that any idea coming from me will surely pave the way for my successful coronation. I tell my second brother to just spit it out and assure him that whatever I say goes. I coo at him, telling him how wonderful he is. Since we are all so committed to the coronation, I propose that I should be the one to seduce the crown prince, effectively tearing his power apart from the inside out. It seems like a much better plan than just simple assassination. My second brother is shocked, asking what on earth I mean by that. He tells me that I am far too pure and kind-hearted, and that the Eastern Palace is a place that eats people alive. He worries that if I go there, I will suffer far more than I can handle. I turn the tables, asking what about our third sister? Are they not worried about her suffering in that same palace? They point out that she has talent in the arts, do I? They claim she is gifted at poetry. I ask myself if I can match that level of refinement. They say she can sing and dance beautifully, which I certainly cannot. I explain that I don't necessarily have to marry into the Eastern Palace, anyway. I decide to be honest with them, telling them I already signed up for the Imperial Academy yesterday. I am now their martial arts instructor, which leaves them totally stunned. They look at me, demanding to know the honest truth. They ask if I am only doing this to chase after Shang Wanqian. I tell them no, that is not the reason I entered the academy. If I were really motivated by him, wouldn't it be much smarter to just join the scholarly wing? They ask if I am really telling the truth. I look at my third sister and reassure her, saying I just can't bear the thought of the crown prince bullying her. It is much better if I become a teacher in the martial wing, where I can stay close to the prince and properly discipline those spoiled little brats. training them until they are absolutely useless for anything else. Once they are under my thumb, controlling them will be child's play. My brothers beam at me, moved by my evolution. They say I have finally grown up, becoming just as vicious and calculating as my second brother. I yell at them, asking who would ever want to be as malicious as they are. They agree that my point is valid. Sending my sister into the Eastern Palace so abruptly would definitely tip our hand to the enemy. Since that is the case, we really should rethink the plan for Xiaoyue. They agree that my assessment is spot on. So, the plan for my third sister to enter the palace is put on hold for now. I will be the one to get close to the crown prince instead. They agree to the change. The heavy burden of seducing the prince is officially shifted to my shoulders. I think to myself that I have managed to clear that hurdle for now. From here on out, I just need to play my villainous role to perfection, and occasionally flirt with the prince while they are watching. I asked Lu Guozijian what has gotten into him. I wonder if he was out stealing chickens all night. He thanks me for my concern, admitting he has not been sleeping very well lately. He asks why I am still waiting, since they haven't shown up yet, suggesting we should just call off the whole bet. He claims the election for the martial arts teacher should be decided by his own test instead, asking if that sounds like a fair deal to me. He tries to catch me off guard, asking where I am rushing off to. I tell him before I go hunting for any tigers, I have some little wolf cubs that need their teeth pulled first. I scoff at those little brats. Anyone who dares to play tricks on me will live to regret it. One of the students asks the boss if they are really not going to the training ground. He reminds them that I am heading there myself. He tells the student to go face me alone if he's so brave. He asks if the student has been scared senseless by that woman. He is still fuming that I dared to suppress him. He grumbles that he has never been dominated by a woman in his entire life, until I came along and ruined that record. The student tries to backpedal, saying he was just asking. He tells the boss not to get so angry over nothing. He points out the raw power in my kicks, which could easily rival any trained martial artist he has ever seen. He says the whole experience was honestly terrifying. The other boy agrees that I am an absolute nightmare. He notes that the table I smashed must have weighed tens of pounds, and I just shattered it with a single kick. He says it doesn't matter who the boss is, but a decision is a decision, and we are not going. He wonders if I would even have the guts to give them another beating. He reminds them of their status. When I suddenly interrupt their little meeting, I remind them I told them to be at the training ground by dawn. I ask them if they're all suffering from hearing loss. They look at me and mutter that I am a real pain. They call out my name, mocking me, saying they have zero interest in watching me go die first thing in the morning. They laugh, clearly thinking they are being quite clever. My system warns me to be a little gentle with them, as if they are fragile. They may be unruly and stubborn, but deep down, they are really just kids. They tell me I am going to end up breaking them. I tell them that putting in a little bit of effort won't exactly shatter them. Before I tame the little wolf cubs, I will start by addressing this display of arrogance. I tell them to prepare to beg for mercy. I brace myself for the impact. The kid is definitely arrogant, but I have to admit, his reaction speed is actually quite impressive. I originally thought these little wolves would be the type to throw down their weapons and run at the first sign of battle. I assumed they were just a bunch of soft, useless waste. It turns out there are a few promising talents among them after all. I tell him he managed to dodge that one well. I dare him to see how many more strikes he can avoid. He falls right into my trap. I was just waiting for him to reach out and block. It is time to strike while he is distracted. I pull him in, and he is mine. I let out a smug little sound of victory. I stand over them and ask if anyone else wants to keep playing this game. I hear someone gasp in shock. They whisper that I am a total maniac, since I am even daring to treat the crown prince like this. They wonder who on earth would be stupid enough to challenge me now. They decide they are not crazy enough to cross me. One of them shouts a warning for me to be careful. I let out a bright, mocking laugh. I ask who on earth this newcomer is. He wasn't around yesterday, that much I know. My system pipes up, telling me to take a look. It shows me the story of his entire life. It lists all his heartbreaks and losses, and how he had to fend for himself since he was tiny. I tell it I do not have time to read a novel right now. I demand that it just show me his resume instead. Do I have to explain how a resume works? The system says the max rating is 6 stars. And this guy is currently sitting at a solid 3, which is just average, apparently. I think to myself that he has real potential. I call out to Seekong, noting his arrival. He finally decided to show his face. The students whisper that the real show is about to begin. They beg him to get revenge for their boss. I think about how nice it must be to be young and carefree, able to just collapse and sleep anywhere. The boy retorts, telling me I am the one who is old enough to be his grandfather. I nod, noting that is actually a rather difficult request to fulfill. My grandfather has been in seclusion for quite some time now. However, if you are willing to pay the right price, I might consider tracking down where he is hiding. I ask if his grandfather knows he is this devoted to him. The boss screams at Seekong Jinhong, demanding that right now, this very second, he needs to take me down. Seekong says he can do that, but turns to the boss, mentioning that the price is 100 taels. I tell him 100 taels would be my absolute pleasure to accept for the service. I treat him like a valued customer. I ask if this is truly our new martial arts instructor. He looks so delicate and fragile. He might as well be a woman in disguise. He tells me someone paid 100 taels just to see me lying on the ground. I smile, telling him that is a true honor for me. I wonder if anyone else is willing to pay 100 taels to watch you fall down instead? The boss screams at Seekong Jinhong, asking why he is just standing there. He orders him to make his move immediately. I compliment him on his impressive skills. Seekong Jinhong claims he is just a humble student and his hand slipped. He tells me to please not take it personally. The boss asks if he has finally lost his mind. He yells that he paid him 100 taels, not to lecture me on respecting teachers and morals. Seekong tells him he is backing out of this deal. He claims that hitting girls is just not the right thing to do. The boss asks who he is referring to as a girl. Is he talking about me? He calls me a masculine tomboy. Seekong tells me to please continue with the lesson. He promises he will be the perfect, attentive student. I am thrilled that Seekong Jinhong switched sides so perfectly. It saved me the trouble of having to get into another fight. I look around and ask if anyone else still wants to play. I tell them that is excellent, so go ahead and clean up the mess on the floor. Put all the chairs and tables back where they belong. It has only been 2 short days, but this group of rascals has actually been tamed. They don't think I am a teacher anymore. They think I am the living king of hell. I tell them that since the room is clean, we can finally get down to the real business. I remind them that yesterday, Lin Feng represented the class and proposed a specific trial challenge for me. I wonder if I am just destined to be at odds with the Wanshou cave. I apologize to them, saying I was not at the academy yesterday, So could they please enlighten me as to what that challenge was? I tell them that is perfectly fine. I ask Lin Feng if his word from yesterday still holds any weight. He confirms that he still stands by what he said. That is excellent, but I want to know about the rest of you. Do your words from yesterday still count, or was it all just hot air? If any of you feels that Lin Feng does not speak for you, now is the perfect time to stand up and say so. One of the students whispers that I am playing a much more dangerous game than they expected. Since you are all sticking to your story, there is no reason to drag this out any further. Everyone, get yourselves ready, because we are heading to Wanshou Cave. They whisper their plan to have the students waiting behind us swarm me all at once, and take that arrogant, clueless woman, and grind her face into the dirt. They are determined to force me to my knees, and make me beg for their forgiveness with heavy, pathetic kowtows. I watch them and wonder exactly where they think they are going. The third prince asks, and he is told there is a lot he doesn't know. Apparently, some students from the 5th Academy were chatting, and word has it that class just doesn't respect this teacher you. They think it is ridiculous that someone could just waltz in and teach without passing a single trial. They don't think I have any real right to be here. So, they made a bet with me yesterday. A bet? What kind of bet? They ask. Class A declared that if I can actually walk into Wanshou Cave and hunt down a fierce tiger, then they will willingly accept me as their teacher. Looking at how things are playing out, they are clearly off to Wanshou Cave to see if I keep my end of the bargain. Hunting a tiger in Wanshou Cave? That's insane. Nobody just walks into a place like that. The prince scoffs, calling it a display of sheer incompetence. He doubts that a mere woman, even with a few fighting moves, could possibly stand a chance against a wild beast with her bare hands. He scoffs again, dismissively. He says she is nothing more than a woman with empty muscle and no brain, daring to march into Wanshou Cave just to meet her own death. That is perfect. It saves me from having to get my own hands dirty. He tells everyone to turn around and head back to the study hall. I am already wondering how I should prepare the tiger. Should I roast it, fry it, or maybe braise it in red sauce? In my past life, it would have been a protected species, but now I can finally taste it without any of those pesky legal concerns. The students ask if I am really serious about this. They tell me that Wanshou Cave is not a playground for kids. The beasts inside have a nasty habit of tearing flesh right off the bone. I ask them why they think I would bring them all the way to the back hill if I were just joking. Do they think we are here for a casual picnic? They try to sound concerned, saying I have such a delicate, pampered body, and it would be a real tragedy if some mindless beast caused me an injury. I ask if they have a better plan to offer, then. One of them asks if I would consider hiring him as a helper. He says that because of our teacher-student relationship, he is willing to give me a special discount on his fees. I thank him for the offer, but I tell him I have no money for him, though I am happy to pay him with my life if things go south, haha. They think I am so obsessed with this teaching position that I am willing to throw my life away for it. The truth is, I only wanted to give her a little lesson, and I definitely never meant for her to actually die in there. They tell me that this is Wanshou Cave, and ask if I really intend to go through with it. They warn me that this is a very serious matter, and I should really reconsider my options. They tell me there is still time to back out if I want to. If I walk away from the Imperial Academy right now, they will just pretend this whole bet never happened. They offer to let me walk away unscathed. I tell them that won't be necessary. I just need them to wait here for an hour, and then we will see what happens. They wonder if a simple position as a martial arts teacher is really worth me risking my life for. They start to get nervous, saying this isn't all on them. They are shocked that I actually walked inside. I tell the tiger it is time for me to get a good stretch. I apologize to the little fur ball, telling it that once it passes over to the underworld, it can tell them all about the rascals from the 5th Academy who sent me here. I asked the beast if it is hurting badly, promising that I am here to help it find some peace. The system asks if I'm not just here to put it out of its misery. I tell it that complete stillness is the only way to end the suffering. Holding on to this painful state is just agonizing. I realize that I am the one who proposed this whole nightmare, so I guess I have to be the one to fix it. I hear someone screaming my name in terror. The screams are just ringing out all around us. I tell them to calm down, it is over now. I remind the instructor to try and maintain some professional decorum. I tell Xianlang that I have successfully finished the hunt. It is time for them to finally fulfill their end of our bargain. Lin Feng admits defeat and bows to me, calling me Teacher Yu. He looks at me in utter disbelief. I turn to the others and ask about them. They bow and address me as Teacher Yu. They all admit they were wrong and yield to my authority. I call for Teacher Su. I ask why he is just standing there like a statue. I tell them to carry the wolf carcass back and donate it to the charity house. They can use it for an extra meal tonight. I notice that this Xian wolf's fur is surprisingly clean and shiny. It doesn't look like a wild beast at all. It looks like someone has been grooming it quite carefully. If its real owner ever comes looking for it, we will just tell them the wolf attacked first. I think it is better to just decide if we want it steamed or braised, honestly. They chatter away, agreeing with my logic. They whisper that even the crown prince couldn't beat me in a fight. They wonder if I am really that incredible. They question if the rumors are even true. That was an armored Xian wolf from the Wanshou cave. It looks like the opposition finally hit a real wall this time. They say the fake prince has already been beaten by me twice. It seems I truly have some genuine skills after all. They are shocked that I am actually still alive. I really made it out of the Wanshou cave. And I even came back with a Xian wolf in tow. The third prince asks if they should look for another chance to get revenge. He says revenge is definitely on the menu. But for now, I should be allowed to enjoy my little victory for a few days. He recognizes it as the Wanshou Cave's Xian wolf. The Wanshou Cave's own wolf, he muses. Could it be the one the shopkeeper raised in the back hills? Yi Xiao and Ying told me about it once. It is a fierce beast the shopkeeper brought back from the far north. Its temperament is absolutely violent. Aside from the shopkeeper, anyone who gets close to it dies. It turns out I didn't just act on a whim. I really do have the skills to back it up. If I can really leverage this to get into the martial arts academy, it would be an absolutely perfect opportunity. Stuck here in the literary wing, I am limited to reading and writing. I can't exactly go around brandishing weapons in public. When will I ever get the chance to take my revenge? Fifth Academy, here I come. This Xian wolf is ridiculous. I have been washing it day and night, and it still smells this bad. No. What is going on here? Someone has definitely been here. Who is reckless enough to come to a place like this? No wonder it smells so rank in here. This Xian wolf must have had a feast, hasn't it? Wait, the person is still alive. But the Xian wolf is dead. That beast is finally dead. That is actually great news. That is absolutely wonderful. I won't have to give this stinky dead wolf another bath ever again. I measure the footprint, 2 feet by 3 meters. The inward curving toes mean it's a woman's footprint. A woman, I mutter. To kill a Xian wolf with her bare hands? She must be a tigress in human skin. It looks like the Imperial Academy has a very unexpected guest. I scoff, thinking this is getting interesting. Someone dared to touch the shopkeeper's things. They certainly have a lot of nerve. Let's go. They ask where I am going. To the Imperial Academy. If you touch the shopkeeper's stuff, you are going to pay the price. This wolf meat is actually pretty chewy. It tastes much better than your average farm-raised pork. Someone laughs and calls me princess. They ask if I could maybe show a little more dignity. I am supposed to be a teacher, after all, and a lady at that. I ask them if dignity is something you can eat for dinner. Besides, this place is so remote that even ghosts wouldn't visit. Who is going to see me? A voice screams that a ghost really is here. I call them crazy. I ask my system, you are just a digital consciousness. Why are you afraid of ghosts? It says it has feelings too, and it's allowed to be afraid of ghosts, rats, or cockroaches, okay? I hear a noise. They ask if I am the woman who killed the Shin wolf. They note that I have a pretty healthy appetite. They ask if I am the one who killed the beast in Wansho Cave. I tell the system to pull up their files so I can take a look. I call to Little Fluffball, asking if it can check the identity of the shopkeeper of Luo Xian store. It tells me it will try. It tells me, sorry, I can't find anything. I ask them, what if it was me? And what if it wasn't? They say if it was you, you're going to pay with your life. I see their speed is pretty impressive. I address the two of them. They seem deeply offended by my blatant indifference toward them. I mockingly ask if having a bit of light footwork makes them think there's something special. They demand to know who I really am. I tell them to keep guessing. Maybe I'm their father. The one called Yexiao chuckles, noting I've got guts. He says I'm the very first person to ever speak to him like that. He tells me he actually admires my boldness. I tell him to zip it. I turn to the other one, the one called Yexiao, or whatever. I tell him that using light footwork to just flit around is definitely not how a real man should fight. I dare him to stand his ground and face me head on. I let out a smug little sound of encouragement. I welcome his attempt to attack. I let out a soft hum of approval. He notices that the moves I'm using look suspiciously like the ones their boss usually employs. I tell him his footwork is all flash and no substance, and that his stance is remarkably unstable. I ask if he wants to keep going, warning that the next time won't be as gentle as a simple fall. I turn to the one hanging on the wall and ask if he's next. They both stammer that they don't want any more of this. I tell them if they're done, then get lost. Don't keep me from my midnight snack. He is baffled, wondering why this sensation of being tossed aside feels exactly like fighting their own boss. He demands to know who I am. I tell him to guess, and if he gets it right, I'll tell him. As for the Shin wolf, it was the one that started the fight. I call it self-defense, and a much-needed upgrade to my dinner. And regarding your shopkeeper, he's the one who was careless enough to keep a wolf that poses a threat, scaring the future pillars of this nation at the Imperial Academy. I haven't even had the chance to settle the bill with him yet. Tell him to show his face so I can deal with him personally. They tell me the shopkeeper's whereabouts are not for me to guess. They claim that the Luoxing Hall has marked today's humiliation in their ledger. Yang introduces himself and his partner, Yexiao. He says Yexiao is the other one. He promises we will meet again. I tell them not to worry, life is short, and And my personal philosophy is to just get things done while you still can. My system worries that the Luoxing Hall seems like bad news. It says their 4-star combat rating is nothing to laugh at. I tell it that when the soldiers come, I'll use a general to hold them off. And when the water rises, I'll just build a dam. Time for some shut-eye. My system laments that it seems to have bonded with a total lunatic. I honestly haven't felt this alive in ages. This body really needs some serious training. Living a life full of these kinds of challenges is so much more interesting than my old, predictable routine back home. Yeah. Whatever, I'll just slowly straighten out these crooked necks. Everyone, get into line. Someone stepped on my foot. I ask who told you to walk so slowly. They ask where exactly they are supposed to stand. 10 paces per line. 5 people to a row. If you are not in formation, within half a stick of incense, don't expect any lunch. Yin Sassoon clearly wants another shoulder throw. Remember the 3 rules. First, obedience. Second, complete obedience. Third, absolute obedience. Did you all hear me? They respond that they heard me. I ask if they are all suffering from malnutrition or something. Did you hear me clearly, or not? They repeat their response, louder this time. I's right. Run 20 laps around the field. The last 3 finishers have to do an extra 10. They complain that their legs will break at that rate. They tell me I am just trying to torture them. I tell them that here, there is only obedience, and absolutely no room for negotiation. They warn each other not to make me angry. Now get moving. I call out to Lin Feng, laughing. Stretch out your stride. Did you forget to eat breakfast? Wang Dama, don't you dare stop. Keep running. Yin Sassoon, use your nose to breathe. Why are you running with your mouth wide open? Are you trying to catch the wind? What is with this pathetic stamina? How are you going to manage to raise children in the future? I scoff. Especially you, Yin Sassoon, running so far behind the others, and wobbling all over the place. What are you trying to do? I ask what you were staring at. I warn them to stop looking at me like that, or I will have their eyes dug out. I tell Little Umbrella to take it easy. It's not like the end of the world. I tell him it's fine. I don't mind his little shortcomings. He tells me to mind my own business and get lost. I ask them how I performed as their teacher. I tell them their speed is pathetic. I ask Little Fluffball to pull up their combat ratings. It tells me Yin Sassoon is a 2-star upper grade, and Lin Feng and Qing Tian are also 2-star upper grade. The rest are mostly 2-star lower or middle grade, with a few poor souls stuck at a single star. I laugh, wondering what they can possibly do with those stats. They would be dead in a heartbeat if they ever had to retreat. The fall of the 9 regions is going to be their fault, isn't it? I command everyone to get to their feet right now. I give them 3 seconds. If anyone doesn't obey, I will personally knock them down until they learn to obey. Now, to answer their little complaints. I point out that he arrived first, a whole lap ahead of the rest of them. That is exactly why he has earned his right to rest. He humbles himself, saying it was nothing special. And as for the rest of you, I could have tied a chicken up here, and it would have run faster than all of you combined. Do you really have the nerve to ask me for a break? I call them out by name and add 10 extra laps for the lot of them. Everyone else gets to do 100 squats on the spot. They complain that their legs are already shaking. They say they absolutely need a rest. They accuse me of doing this just to torment them. They say I am trying to humiliate them. One of them claims his father is the Vice Minister of Justice, and that I am guilty of abuse. I offer a dry, mocking sound of amusement. Do you really think having a father in the Ministry of Justice makes you a big shot? When enemy cavalry finally breaches the city gates, is your father's title going to be enough to buy your life? I don't care who your fathers are. Even the King of Hell's grandson wouldn't get special treatment here. From this day forward, you are nothing but soldiers of the 9 regions, and you are soldiers under my command. Hardship is your daily routine, and exhaustion is what you get for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you want to get along with me, you had better toss that pampered, young master attitude right out the window. As for this humiliation you're whining about, Real humiliation happens on the battlefield, when enemy horses trample our gates. Your wives and daughters are abducted, and your fathers are left bleeding in the mud, all while you cowardly officers drop your weapons and flee. That is the ultimate, unforgivable disgrace. Did you really think the Imperial Academy was just a place to lounge around? When disaster finally hits this nation, are you still going to be whining about how tired you are? By then, the only thing waiting for you will be cold steel and a shallow grave. Today's 20 laps are just the very beginning. The training that follows is only going to get much worse. If you aren't prepared to stick it out, go ahead and beg the Emperor to let you quit. Grandson, as soon as your father's strength fails him, you have to be ready to pick up the heavy burden, to act as a shield of flesh and blood, to guard our 9 regions, to protect our land and peace. Does that mean you can just throw your own wife's life away like garbage? What are you all still standing there for? Start your 100 squats now. Keep your form perfect. And if your knees go past your toes, you start all over again. Where does it hurt? Help him over to the shade of that tree to rest. Tell the infirmary to bring over some sugar water. I let out a scoff. I am training you to make you strong, not to watch you drop dead from exhaustion. But if any of you dares to fake an illness and slack off, you will have to deal with the consequences yourselves. They whisper that teacher you may look brutal, but she actually sees right through everything like a mirror. Her methods are harsh, but she never oversteps the line. Today's morning training is over. Meet back here in an hour to learn basic combat techniques. Dismissed. I greet the third prince and ask if he's been doing well. I thank the heavens for the third prince's blessings, as I have been eating well and living quite comfortably, but the third prince himself doesn't look so hot. Wondering if he's still hurting from the fall I gave him the other day. He barks that I am being arrogant, as a mere instructor, daring to be so disrespectful to a prince. I ask the prince if he brought all these people with him, just to spout this kind of nonsense. He scoffs repeatedly. He says that after the disrespect I showed him the other day, he is willing to be lenient since I'm still new here, and won't dig any deeper into the matter. He says if I am willing to kneel and apologize today, he promises that he will forgive my insolence if I do. I tell the third prince that the Imperial Academy is a place for teaching and learning, where we respect the hierarchy between master and student, and we adhere strictly to the rules of the institution. As a teacher in the martial wing, I am teaching them not to bully others based on status, so how could you possibly call this insubordination? And as for the third prince, you've barged into a restricted training area of the martial wing, disrupting our lesson. So what crime does that make you guilty of? He bellows at me, demanding to know what kind of nobody I think I am. He's genuinely offended that I would dare to talk back to him. I apologize, saying my hand just slipped. Just an unfortunate slip of the hand. He scoffs, clearly deciding that I prefer the hard way. He calls for his men to take me down. I order everyone in the 5th Academy to listen up. I command them to gather early and get into formation immediately. I yell for them to get into position, quick. They whisper in confusion, asking if we aren't supposed to be fighting the literary wing students. They want to know why I'm making them fall into line instead. I tell them to wake up and focus. Watch closely, because today I am going to teach you a lesson in real-world combat. The prince screams at his men to capture this arrogant woman. I demonstrate that if the opponent tries to grab you from the front, you target their hair, because the weak point is their midsection. I show them how to pin their hand and strike the abdomen. I add a double kill for effect if they attack from behind. The weak spot is the waist, so you clench your fists and use an elbow strike. If the opponent tries a high kick, the weak point is their standing leg, so grab the kicking leg and squeeze inward. Then trip their standing leg and finish with a takedown. Triple kill, and you can even follow up with a punch if they're still moving. I asked them if that was all clear enough. I turned to the third prince. The models you brought have a decent enough foundation, but their actual combat experience is embarrassingly poor. I thank him for so generously providing me with a teaching aid. He calls them useless trash. I tell them the demonstration is finished. I ask the third prince if he's going to walk away with his dignity, or if he wants me to knock him down and have him carried out. He promises he will remember this, and storms off. I asked my students if they saw the demonstration clearly. They all affirmed that they saw it perfectly. Yan Chengxian really picked the perfect time to show up. Not only did he provide me with a free training session, but by pure accident, I've gained a bunch of new fanboys. I tell them that's great, so now I want the essence of those 3 moves. Practiced 50 times over, on the spot. They groan as they realize what they're in for. I call it a day for now. Go home and soak your feet in hot water. And rub out the aches and pains. I tell them we gather back here again tomorrow at dawn. Anyone who's late gets 20 laps. The prince screams at his men, asking why they haven't finished checking yet. He wants to know who exactly this woman is. His right-hand man tells him to hold his horses, since he has already sent someone to dig it up. He calls for his young master, all excited. He asks if he's found it. He asks if he's absolutely, 100% certain. The subordinate tells him that they are all doomed. The prince tells him to stop stalling. He demands to know what he actually found. He reports that she is the 4th miss of the left prime minister's residence. Yu Sangluo. I ask Little Umbrella if he can still kidnap her. He says kidnapping the left prime minister's daughter is one thing. But are you trying to kidnap her 2 older brothers instead? Do you want to kidnap the Grand Marshal of the Cavalry? Are you tired of living? The Yu family is brimming with ambition. Why would they send Yu Sangluo here? What is their true intention? I tell Little Umbrella not to be so grumpy. Isn't it much better to just be a hanger-on? The 4th miss of the Yu family has a solid reputation. He tells me to shut it, you pervert. I look at these guys and sigh. They don't have the slightest sense of duty for their own country, and they only listen to commands. Because they were beaten into submission. The emperor and his senior officials really are naive, hoping that this group of greenhouse-raised weaklings will be the ones to guard our nation. They tell me the city is hosting a martial arts tournament in a few days, and that our Imperial Academy has held the title for the last 2 years. If we win again this year, it'll be our 3rd title. I look at this pathetic bunch of losers. Just looking at the way they were stumbling around earlier, I don't think they'd survive a real fight. I doubt they could even finish a simple set of punches correctly, let alone win a tournament. If they don't trip over their own feet, that's already a huge success. I ask Little Fluffball to check out the real heavy hitters in this tournament. Do they think I'm some kind of idiot? It's all true, I suppose. When I registered, I just used the Imperial Academy's name, which is... I let out a scoff. No wonder they haven't felt a shred of crisis in their lives. They've been relying on their status to suppress everyone else, making everyone else carry the heavy burden for them. Forget registering under the Imperial Academy this time. Let's use the Huihuang Academy's name instead. Understood. Make it quick. I need to go see the Hall Master. Hall Master. Hall Master. These are the silver payments submitted by the various academies in the 9-region city. This year's total is 20% higher than last year's. Escort it back to the Jiushang Kingdom. When the Hall Master returned to the Jiushang Kingdom half a year ago, the king said that as for the silver we earn from now on, the Luoxing Hall can take 50%. Have you forgotten what the Hall Master said? We are not to take a single coin earned from that soul-hooking powder. 50 million taels of gold. It's free money. Why would I turn it down? The Father Emperor is being generous, tossing a bone to his hunting dog. It's really quite amusing. Hall Master, we received news from the Queen yesterday. She is in good health. The king also said, most of the academies in the 9 regions have already been exposed to the soul-hooking powder, and he wants the Hall Master to find a way to push it into the Imperial Academy, to get those aristocratic sons addicted to the poison too. He's certainly in a hurry, isn't he? The Imperial Academy is full of children of the most important officials. If they all get hooked, we could easily destroy the 9 regions. Hall Master, Ye Xiao has an idea, though I'm not sure if it's viable. Speak. Doesn't the Hall Master always want to test Yan Zhonghuai's loyalty? Why not have him bring the soul-hooking powder into the Imperial Academy? Little Prince, I beg you, please, have mercy on me. The cruelty of this boy's methods is absolutely ruthless. I've never even seen anything like it. which is exactly why it's so perfect for me. Yin Zhonghuai is the least favored prince, treated with contempt by everyone he meets. He harbors a nearly pathological desire for revenge. He wants to destroy the 9 regions kingdom, and he'll serve whoever helps him achieve that. I brought him into the washing hall, but he's far too unpredictable and far too good at biding his time for me to ever truly trust him with anything important. Hall Master, if those young masters all get addicted to the soul-hooking powder, won't they be under our total control? Their parents would sell everything they own just to pay for the antidote. This is a significant matter. We'll discuss it later. Tell the escorts to be extremely careful, and don't alert the patrol battalion. Understood. When did you learn to act like Yang? Only telling half the story. Hall Master, when we went to give that fragrant Xian wolf a bath today, we found it dead, killed by someone. Where's the body? Someone roasted it and ate it. Find out who did it. It was the new female teacher at the Imperial Academy. Is the Hall Master going to lose his mind over this? I'm no match for her. What? Her fighting style is bizarre, incredibly swift and ruthless. After only 3 moves, she used a clever technique to pin me at a vital point. If she hadn't intentionally decided not to kill me, I probably wouldn't have made it out in one piece. Go investigate her background and report back everything she's been doing. The Yu family holds the military might. Even the father emperor has to treat them with respect. I really can't afford to offend her. Third prince, the rumor is that Miss Yu is just a lovesick airhead. That's what everyone in the capital says. She has been obsessively chasing the son of the Minister of Rights, Shang Wanqian, since she was a little girl. If we could win her loyalty. Shang Wanqian, eh? That's an interesting thought. Was I too aggressive? I think I scared them silly. Teacher Yu, they already know you're the 4th Miss Yu. They already know. If I'd known that this identity was so effective, I could have saved myself so much trouble. I should have just flaunted it from the start. And saved all that breath and effort. What a massive waste, what a waste. What a massive waste of resources, this 4th Miss Yu. She's giving these little spoiled brats way too much credit. Just flashing her status isn't going to make them fall into line. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been chased away from the palanquin before. The only reason they're acting so obedient now is because Yu Sengluo beat them into submission. Her noble background is just the icing on the cake, ensuring they've completely given up any hope of rebellion. You're all aware of the upcoming martial arts tournament in the city, right? Naturally, they respond. They boast that our Imperial Academy has taken the championship 2 years running. I tell them we aren't going to use the Imperial Academy's name this time, but we'll represent Huiwang Academy instead. One asks if I think we only win by throwing our weight around. They claim they have never needed to resort to such tactics. Their victory, they insist, is earned through hard work. I tell them that's fine. No matter which banner you choose to fight under, I'm sure you'll be able to bring home the win, right? They scoff, asking what could possibly be difficult about that. They promise to take the top spot, even without the Imperial Academy's name. Perfect. The fish is on the hook. Good. I admire your spirit, then. Since your performance and morning training was acceptable, you're permitted to have your lunch on time today. I ask why they aren't heading off to eat. If they're not hungry, they can stay back for some extra training. They immediately start shouting that they are, in fact, starving. Form up. Destination is the mess hall. Stay in formation. Keep your rhythm. I wonder who the blind idiot was that started the rumor about me being ugly and a complete airhead. If I'm an airhead, what does that make us, who were just soundly defeated by her? Are we even lower than airheads? Like a pile of useless filth? They whisper about how this group of troublemakers has been so effectively tamed. They wonder how that delicate-looking lady teacher managed it. I offer a shark-like smile. The bear woman. I'll settle the score with you sooner or later. The ninth prince stammers that it was just an accident. Third brother. He insists he didn't do it on purpose. I think the ninth prince really has the worst luck. Always bumping into the third prince on his absolute worst days. It's not his fault his mother was just a lowly palace maid. He calls the prince bad luck and tells him to get lost, saying the sight of him makes him sick. My system asks why I'm not stepping in to help him. It finds the little villain's suffering hilarious for some reason. This is getting interesting. I apologize, saying my hand just slipped. The prince bellows that I am asking for death. They can't believe their eyes. The rumor said she couldn't even read properly. So how could she kill a wild tiger with her bare hands? They remember seeing Miss Yu with young Master Shangwan, and she looked hideous. Definitely not like this person standing here. They conclude that you really can't trust rumors. How could such a dazzling person possibly be that airhead fourth miss? I apologize again, telling them my hand just slipped for a second. A total, shameful disgrace. To be hit in the head by a woman in front of everyone, only to be brushed off with a breezy comment about a slipped hand. He screams for them to all jump me at once. He commands them to take down this insubordinate woman, promising a heavy reward for whoever succeeds. His men tell the third prince not to worry. They claim a delicate girl like me is something they can handle easily, and that they'll wash away their shame right now. The students place bets on who will win. They ask if there's an option where both sides die. Yan Chengxian is a huge idiot, and Yu Sangluo is a demon hag. So mutual destruction would be perfect. Are we placing bets then? The odds favor the many over the one. So I'm betting the demon hag loses. They've been grinding away at their martial arts for years, which is something that demon hag can't hope to match. They laugh, anticipating my fall. I place my bet on teacher Yu to win. Sikong, you're going to lose the shirt off your back this time. I watch them, unfazed. Are they all scared out of their minds? I launch into a fast, rhythmic flurry of strikes. Fast, precise, relentless. Down they go, one by one. I finish them off with a final, clean motion. What a useless bunch. Who on earth started the rumor that Miss Yu was a vapid, lovesick airhead? This isn't an airhead. This is a force of nature. Teacher Yu, you're absolutely mighty. Teacher Yu is incredible. I apologize, I was still waking up. So please forgive me for being so sloppy. I smile and pocket their money, thanking them for the generous contribution. It's a good lesson for them to learn that women are never weak. Staring at a lady like that is a big mistake, boys. I let out a dismissive scoff. The prince is shouting, demanding to know how I dared to lay a hand on him. He threatens to ruin me completely for this. I ask him if he's done whining yet. Because now it is my turn. This first slap is administered in my capacity as a 5th Academy instructor to teach you that you cannot simply bully the weak. They whisper in shock that I dared to slap the third prince in public. I wonder what a prince is even worth anyway. I don't even care about the crown prince. Why should I care about you? I tell the crowd to mind their own business. This second slap is to remind you to show some respect to your elders and teachers. And for this last one, there isn't really a reason. I just think your face is exceptionally punchable today. I ask if the 9th prince is all right. He thanks me, and I tell him it was no trouble at all. I tell the students that since they've had their fill of gawking, it's time to get into formation and back to the training grounds. They complain that they haven't finished their meal. I tell them they sure seem to have plenty of energy for gambling earlier. Must be nice to have so much extra stamina. The 9th prince asks if teacher Yu has any more business with him. Yan Zhonghua asks to join the martial wing, begging me to take him in. If I recruit Yan Zhonghua into the 5th Academy, I can make sure he's protected and maybe help fix his warped perspective. But the second I bring him over to my academy, this pack of wild dogs comes running to pick on him. They laugh, taunting him. They ask if he thinks that following an airhead like Yu Sangluo will actually get him away from the third prince. They tell him to go find that useless airhead woman to save him if he's so brave. They sneer about that woman, claiming that if I were to stand in front of them, I'd have to crawl to them like a dog. I show up, unamused. They freeze. I ask them to repeat what they called me. Go ahead, say it one more time. I ask them if they aren't afraid of me. Tell your master, Shengwanqian, that throwing away one's dignity for a man is not my style. Any stray dog now thinks they can trash talk me? More than just a stray dog. Who the hell is Shengwanqian anyway? Tell him that I was just bored and playing with a dog, but now I'm sick of the game and done playing. I ask where their instructor went. They say teacher Bai had something urgent to attend to and told them to practice on their own. Since he's not here, I'll be leading your training today, alongside Class A. I ask them why they are laughing. They tell me to get in line, saying their class doesn't need a woman bossing them around. More laughter breaks out. I tell them to get up and try again. Who else wants to learn embroidery? Step forward, and I'll teach you personally. Everyone, get in line. I ask if they are having fun now. They stutter in fear. They claim they wouldn't dare. That's what I thought. Now get in line. They try to call out to me. They're still trying to get my attention. I tell them to worry about themselves. I know what I am doing. What are you all standing around for? They tell me it isn't necessary. I ask what isn't necessary. You are covered in injuries. If you don't take the time to heal properly, how will you ever survive my training? Poor little kid. If you get bullied in the future, make sure you come tell your teacher. I'll be the one to back you up, got it? I laugh, teasing him. They whisper that if teacher Yu wore women's clothes, she'd be a total knockout. Would you believe that? But who cares if she's pretty? She's incredibly violent. They quote a saying, but conclude that I'm just sick in the head. They call me crazy. I hear a noise. I ask Lu Xuejin what he has in that container. Are you bringing us some green bean soup? I laugh. You've all made decent progress in your physical training. So from now on, we're adding mental conditioning. On the battlefield, the enemy won't stop shooting arrows just because you're scared. If your heart isn't hard enough, even the best laid plans will come to nothing. I set down a bucket. 2 people per bucket. Who's going first? They start whining about revenge. I scoff. Revenge, really? If the enemy released thousands of poisonous snakes on the battlefield, would you just sit there and cry like this? They beg me, saying there are too many snakes. They ask if I can catch a few of them first. They need time to adjust, they say. They make it sound so reasonable, but it's just their way of trying to get back at me. They dare me to step inside myself, if I'm so brave. They say if I step in, they'll actually agree to this training. I scoff. Fine, you've got a deal. On the battlefield, the enemy won't stop their assault just because you're shivering in your boots. If you can't even face a few harmless snakes, how do you expect to defend this nation? I've shown you how it's done. Who's next? That guy from the 9th Prince's side is in Class D, so he has nothing to do with us. They show no concern for their own teammates. Disregarding your brothers in arms is the ultimate sin for a soldier. They reply that the teacher's lesson is well taken. No matter who you are or what your background is, once you're on the battlefield, we are all soldiers of this land. Only by working together as one can we hope to break the enemy. I scoff. Linghu, it's your turn. You're useless. Class D is dismissed. Yin Zhonghua is now in Class A, which means he is officially under my protection. If anyone tries to bully him again, you'll have to answer to me. Tomorrow is the tournament. Go home and prepare. They say they wouldn't dare. They thank me. Remember, today you are not students of the Imperial Academy, but students of the Huiwang Academy. Anyone who leaks your real identity is going to pay. They tell me they understand. Move out, run. They agree. Laughter erupts around me like a flock of geese. These pampered little brats are actually too scared to even fight back. This woman is too much fun, they whisper. Go back and report this to the shopkeeper. Teacher Yu is forcing us to use fake names. This is so embarrassing. Think of it this way. This is how you stand out from the crowd. What academy is this? State your name. Huiwang Academy. Here to register for the tournament. This guy calls himself Lin Ergu, Qin Taidan, Sikong Maodan, Zhao Jidan. What are these names? And this one calls himself Fire Chicken Head. They laugh, telling us to turn right at the door and go find a room at the Zhuhang Inn. Stop right there. Who gave these uncultured idiots permission to come up here? Do you think the top floor is a place for the likes of you? The Zhuhang Inn has a limited number of top-tier rooms, and they always go to those who can actually earn them. They laugh, telling us to prove our worth if we want to stay here. Looking at our dusty, unkempt faces, they suggest we go sleep on the lobby floor like we belong. Lin Feng, go teach them a little lesson. I let out a low hum. I make my move. They laugh, calling his moves mediocre at best. They ask what kind of basement-tier academy would even think they have a place here. Do you even know who we are? I scoff, asking who they are, and why I should care. We won the match, so be smart and get lost. A bet is a bet, and our Huiwang Academy will withdraw as promised. They say that at least I'm more sensible than the rest of them. 300 taels, do you believe that? I pay for the room and let them know we're out. It's been a pleasure serving you. My dear guest, what is wrong with these people? I laugh, telling them that would have been easier to do from the start. If you're so weak, why are you out trying to steal things from people? Are you blind? You bumped into me and you don't even know how to apologize? I tell him to watch his mouth when he speaks, because pushing people around really isn't proper etiquette. I let go, accepting the civility, and I'll even let you have the room. But if you still want to get physical, I wouldn't mind stretching my limbs a bit. They try to act cool. I ask if my students are really the type of people that a group of country bumpkins like you can just beat up. I tell little Fluffball to check. They whine that resorting to a sneak attack during a friendly sparring match is just incredibly treacherous behavior. They demand that Sikong actually fight us properly for once. I ask what they think they are doing. If you can't win a fair fight, why resort to throwing your weight around like this? Just because you don't have the Imperial Academy's backing anymore, it doesn't mean you can just throw a tantrum because you can't get your way. They whisper that I've injured the future Right Prime Minister's son, and that I wouldn't have enough heads to pay for that mistake. The martial arts tournament has its own rules. And when students are sparring, no matter who wins or loses, instructors are strictly forbidden from interfering. Is it possible that it's not that he's strong, but rather that you all are just incredibly weak? Does the instructor for the Jixia Academy not even understand basic rules like that? Where does this ignorant woman think she gets off barking orders here? I thank him for the lesson. I am an instructor from the Huiwang Academy. They sneer that my name is Yu, so I must have been taught by a woman. They ask if she taught me how to embroider or chase butterflies. They scoff at my gender. They say it's no wonder my students are so incredibly pathetic. We're just wasting our breath arguing over a single room. And frankly, I'm tired of hearing them talk. I tell them I'll have a match with them. If I win, you give up the room. Since you're so determined to embarrass yourself, I'll be happy to oblige you. I move. They freeze. I strike. They scramble, wondering what just happened. I ask these losers why they aren't laughing so loudly anymore. Keep laughing, go ahead. What Jishao Academy nonsense is this? It sounds more like a mud chicken academy to me. I earned this spring-themed suite with my own 2 fists, and if you want to get in, go right ahead and try. Either beat me right now, or go try to beat them. They ask if I'm really going to be this heartless, teacher you? I ask if they really think I'm that cruel. Since you lack the skill to do anything about it, just stay right where you belong, at the bottom. I tell them to come stay with me tonight. I laugh at the look on their faces. Don't worry about it. I only like men who are stronger than I am. I have absolutely no interest in little brats like you. All right. Don't get upset. I'll go get you a room of your own. Sit down. Your knees must be aching from the cold, right? Rub this medicinal wine in every night, and it will soothe those old injuries of yours. He asks how I knew that. I tell him I noticed the slight hitch in your left leg when you walk, and it just so happens that I've studied a bit of medicine. It's freezing at night, and the lobby doesn't have any bedding. You sleep here. But with just the 2 of us, it might hurt your reputation as a teacher. Don't worry, I have a very strong professional code of ethics. I'm not interested in some cliché student-teacher romance. Which is my way of saying I'm not going to be making any inappropriate moves on you. He tells me to watch my language, teacher you. I yawn, saying I'm sleepy. You should get some rest too. Have you managed to find out anything? That woman is the daughter of the left prime minister, the 4th in line of succession. A sheltered young lady from a noble house. Why on earth would she go to the Imperial Academy to be an instructor? Word is, it's just to get closer to the son of the Minister of Rights, Shang Wanqian. How boring. Forget about her. Don't waste any more time on her. Hallmaster, Miss Yu is definitely not the type of person to just climb into bed with a man. Besides, the left prime minister's residence has secret plans for a coup, and if we could win her over to our side, we could coordinate from the inside and outside, which would make our plans go much more smoothly. Wait, what is the 4th Miss Yu's name? Yu Sangluo? Say that again. What did you say her name was? Yu Sangluo. Where is she right now? She's leading her students to the martial arts tournament. They're staying at the Zhuhong Inn tonight. Saddle my horse immediately, and make sure it's the fastest one we have. Hallmaster. It's already quite late, and Miss Yu has likely already retired for the night, so why don't you? My subordinate tells me he will handle it right away. Is it possible the Hallmaster actually listened to my suggestion? Does he really want to bring Miss Yu into our inner circle? I can't wait a single second longer. I let out an impatient scoff. Luo. Fanga calls out. He reminds me that injuring someone without a cause during the tournament will get us disqualified. That woman humiliated me like that, so I'm definitely going to teach her a lesson tonight. He tells me not to worry, since he's got some knockout powder. No matter how good her martial arts are, one sniff of this and she'll be out cold. Once she can't move a muscle, we'll break one of her legs. He urges his men to hurry and blow it through the window. Blow harder. They laugh, imagining their success. One reports that he thinks he accidentally inhaled it himself. I ask where they think they are going. Why not stay and play a little longer? Do you think my room is a public restroom? You can just walk in whenever you want, and then just walk right back out? They scream in agony as I crush their legs. Feng Yuan. Who did this to you? Why didn't I notice before that this demon teacher was actually so beautiful? What is so beautiful about her anyway? What is going on here? They claim she's the one who threw them down here. An instructor from the Imperial Academy hurting students in private? She should be disqualified from the tournament immediately. The judge asks if I was the one who pushed them down. I tell the judge, she just admitted it herself. They beg the judge to stand up for them. The judge says since I admitted to injuring them without cause, then by the tournament rules, I'm out. I tell them to hold on a minute. I admitted to pushing them. But did I ever admit that it was without cause? Are you really going to pass judgment based on one side story? He tells me to quit with the clever excuses. The fact is that you attacked and injured people. These two snuck under my window in the middle of the night and used this gadget to poke a hole in the paper and blow knockout gas inside. If I hadn't woken up in time, I would have been the one at their mercy. I wasn't the one who started this unprovoked attack. It was them. They scream that I'm making false accusations. They've never seen this gadget before in their lives. You can't just use this thing as proof that it belongs to Feng Yuan. Your claims are baseless, and your act of injuring them is an unprovoked assault. As an instructor of Imperial Academy, you have viciously assaulted others. A truly detestable act. Effective immediately. All of you are to leave the Zhuhong Inn. This tournament no longer welcomes you. Did you hear me? Get out of here, right now? Laughter erupts around me. So, we're not allowed to participate in the tournament anymore, then? That is correct. I tell the judge to wait a second. I tell the judge if my students from Imperial Academy are willing to kneel and kowtow an apology to my students from Guozijian Academy, then I might be willing to put in a good word for you. I'll let you stay in the tournament. They scream at me to kneel and apologize immediately. Otherwise, get out. I tell them to watch their mouths. Who do you think you are? If I were to even bend these knees of mine, it's a weight that the entire Guozijian Academy couldn't possibly carry. They laugh, incredulous. They keep laughing, mocking me. That is a whole lot of big talk. Kneel down. I tell them I'd like to see if the sky actually falls down to crush me. I laugh. Very good. I send them flying. The judge yells that I'm being reckless. The students are cheering for me. Teacher Yu is mighty. Teacher Yu is mighty. They are shocked that I'd actually dare to beat up the judge. They call it absolute lawlessness. I ask if the judge didn't already pass judgment on us. Didn't you say you were kicking us out of the tournament? You wouldn't let us compete anyway, so why all the talk? Why are you still barking? They say it's rebellion. Fine, we're not participating in this tournament anyway. I'm sleepy, I'm going to bed. They scream for someone to stop me. Just you wait. I'll see you at the magistrate's office tomorrow, you old fool. I tell them to feel free to do whatever they like. I turn to him, saying Luo Luo. Let's try getting to know each other all over again. They cry out to the judge, demanding that he punish me severely. They whine that I actually dared to lay a hand on the students, showing complete contempt for the tournament rules. One of them wails about his leg. They remind the judge that this tournament is sponsored by the emperor himself, and that my actions are a direct insult to his majesty. They insist I must be dealt with harshly. They call for the students of Imperial Academy to be brought down. They point at us, telling the judge to look at our arrogant attitudes, calling it truly outrageous. The judge orders his men to storm upstairs and arrest us. They quickly agree. I yell, asking what all this noise is about so early in the morning. They ask who has the audacity to attack Imperial officers. I laugh, wondering what they're doing busting into a lady's room, disturbing my peaceful sleep. Kicking them out was letting them off easy. The officer asks if I might be willing to step aside for a moment. He recognizes me as the fourth miss from the Prime Minister's residence, recalling how he personally escorted me home when I was unconscious just half a month ago. If the Yu family ever decides to investigate this, he knows his own head won't stay on his shoulders for long. He asks what injustice has been done to me, promising that he will personally stand up for me. They complain to the judge that I beat up his men. The judge shuts them up, saying he is the one conducting the investigation, and that they don't get to interrupt him. I explain that they lost their match, and couldn't handle the defeat, so they snuck to my window in the middle of the night, intending to commit some mischief. The judge says it all makes sense now. He calls the whole thing outrageous. I tell him that once I caught them, I just threw them out, naturally. I laugh at the situation. The judge compliments me on my quick reflexes, saying that was exactly the right response. He orders his men to take those two into custody. They scream that it's a setup. I ask the judge if we are still going to compete today. Of course we are. I ask if they are afraid of losing. They boast that since we started participating in the tournament, we have never once been defeated. Aside from their status, this group of little wolves doesn't have a single skill worth showing off. But the higher they fly, the harder they'll fall. Sun Li introduces himself, saying he's acting on behalf of Magistrate Liu to handle the tournament proceedings. I tell him no need for the formalities. He explains that the tournament uses a challenge and advancement system, where lower-ranked schools can challenge the top 10. The winners take their place. You can just steal their spot if you win. Exactly, and aside from the Imperial Academy, only the top 3 schools are safe: the Donghua Academy and the prestigious Shengdang Academy. I tell them we might as well start our challenges from 3rd place. Shengdang Academy it is. They tell me to stop looking down on them. We're going to challenge the Donghua Academy directly. They're practically begging for us to take them down. So much confidence. So all of you really want to challenge the Donghua Academy? Any objections? Of course not. Once we win the match, we'll finally be able to hold our heads high. These stinky little brats, they really don't appreciate kindness when they see it. Since they want to throw their lives away, I might as well grant their wish. Teacher you. If we win, you have to leave the Imperial Academy yourself. How's that? That's a pretty big gamble. And if you lose, from now on, the martial arts class will follow my every command. Yes, following your every command is fine. As if you would dare to defy me even now. If you lose, from this day forward, you must treat Yin Zhonghua with courtesy. Each of you needs to do 100 favors for him, and keep a detailed log for me to review. I can't do it all on my own. Protecting Yin Zhonghua is not easy. Getting these spoiled brats to commit is the only way to do it. They ask if I've got a crush on him or something. I'm in. Do we have a bet? Whatever, we're not going to lose anyway. It's a deal. The students from our Huiwang Academy are incredibly skilled fighters. If a god stands in our way, we'll kill them. If a Buddha blocks our path, we'll kill them too. They really are that strong. That's right, the Huiwang Academy will kill gods, and we will kill Buddhas. We are absolutely, 100% invincible. The laughter ripples through them like a wave. They're like a bunch of living demons. We've never lost a martial arts tournament before, and we usually wipe the floor with Donghua Academy in no time flat. I guess I'm just worrying about nothing, right? He certainly runs fast. He must be trying to scout out our true strength ahead of time. I'm just curious. Since you were only resting until dawn yesterday before you headed out, are you sure you can still handle the strain of today? I apologize for the intrusion. It was my fault for disturbing your rest. Our Luo really does have a habit of dragging strays home, doesn't she? Who are we sending in for the first round? Let little Ye take the lead, and I'll get us off to a flying start. Qinggu is the best. Let's just go along with their plan. They'll be getting a harsh reality check soon enough anyway. That guy is Fang Bian, Fang Yuan's own flesh and blood. They're as close as brothers can get. And since Fang Yuan got the short end of the stick today, Fang Bian is likely going to hold a grudge against me and all you boys. I scoff at the idea. You see that guy over there glaring at you? Who the hell does that lowlife think he is, glaring at me? He probably just thinks you're being a bit too flashy and doesn't like the look of you. That's not good. Will the students from Hongwen Academy please take the stage? Representing Huihuang Academy, don't worry about my name, I'm competing. Isn't that the one? The lady teacher who kicked the instructor yesterday? It's actually her. No wonder these students are acting so full of themselves. Yuan Bao from Hongwen Academy, enough with the chatter. Taste my fist. I let out a dismissive sound. And another one. You're just one big walking weak spot. Is this all the Huihuang Academy has to offer? You're just begging for humiliation. That was a pretty explosive start, I suppose. I'm fighting them. Let me at them. Let go of me. I need to get revenge. Don't you understand yet? Do you really think all those previous opponents were actually being defeated by your mediocre skills? You're all from noble families, with fathers and brothers holding all the real power. In previous tournaments, who would dare to go hard on you? They were just playing along and coddling you, all because of your family status. But today, you're competing under a new banner, Hongwen Academy, and they just see you as some unknown nobodies who don't know when to quit. They're not going to hold back anymore. If you want to reclaim your pride, when we get back to the academy, drop your egos at the door and get ready to work under my training. I'm going to whip you into shape, into a pack of wolves that make the enemy tremble in fear. A woman belongs at home, not acting as a teacher. Having a woman teach martial arts. It's a disgrace to all men under heaven. Women belong in the house, doing embroidery. No wonder she uses a fake name. She's probably just scared of losing so badly. Laughter erupts again. Quiet, all of you. They really have no idea what they're doing, daring to provoke the demon teacher. Since I'm the teacher, I can't let my students get bullied. Come on, jump me, and let's spar. They laugh, suggesting we all jump in together. Teacher, you must want to be carried out on a stretcher, haha. I'm just worried that if I beat Fong Bien to tears, you'll say I'm bullying my students. Wait a second. Just fighting is a little boring, isn't it? How about we add a wager? If I lose, you can break one of my legs right here and now, and I won't complain at all. You said it yourself, and everyone here can bear witness to that. Fine by me. You're just looking for an excuse to show off, aren't you? I see it now. This woman is going to be the death of you. We've got a bet, so just wait until your leg is broken. Let's see you keep that stiff upper lip after that. I'll give you the first move. Yeah. Laughter echoes around us. You're already begging for mercy on your knees? They laugh, completely unaware. One move. I strike. You lost. That wasn't any proper technique. If you have the guts, let me go and we'll fight again. Whatever drops the enemy is good technique to me. A loss is a loss. There are no do-overs here. Time to settle the bet. What are you calling me? Mother? What did you say? I didn't quite hear you. Mother, mother, mother. Good boy. Just remember to take the long way around next time you see your mother. After all, your mother has a bit of a temper. And I'm afraid I might not be able to control myself if I have to teach you another lesson. Do you really think his reason for joining the Imperial Academy is as simple as it seems? Who knows? Luo. You really should only treat me with such special attention. As for that boy who stole my spot, the special attention I have for him is that I'm going to grind him into dust, inch by inch. He lets out a dark sound. I'd say the tournament was a total landslide victory, wouldn't you? Congratulations, teacher you. Congratulations to all the young masters. Get out of the way. Don't tell me to get out of the way. You're blocking the path so nobody can get through. Someone, please, just knock me out already. I'm begging you. You have to get in line for that. The Imperial Academy lost this year, and they lost in humiliating fashion. His Majesty has issued an imperial decree stating that since the tournament has concluded, all students and teachers are invited to the palace for a celebratory banquet. We already know the results, so why call us to the palace for a banquet? The emperor sitting on that throne must have something else up his sleeve. Could it be that this banquet is actually set up for me? Your Majesty, the Imperial Academy's results were poor. So why are you still hosting a banquet? Consort, you shoving her daughter into the Imperial Academy has made me feel quite uneasy. The Imperial Academy is meant to nurture the pillars of the state. So how can I allow the left Prime Minister's residents to reach their hands in so deep? Their crushing defeat at the tournament today is the perfect opportunity. Does your Majesty mean to use the court officials to speak out and drive Yu Luo out of the academy? Correct. Allowing women into the academy in the first place was already met with resistance from the old guard. Now that they've suffered such a humiliating defeat, there will surely be those who can't keep quiet any longer. Public opinion is a powerful force, and the palace is buzzing with whispers. The show is about to begin. Our Imperial Academy boys used to be the cream of the crop. So how did they end up like this year? I said it before, having a woman teach is against common sense. Now, as expected, she's just misleading the next generation. Scoff. She's only here because she's riding the coattails of her father's power, just here to fill a seat. That Yu Luo has no shame. A proper daughter should be at home, learning music and poetry, instead of going around brandishing weapons, teaching a group of men. What kind of decorum is that? I heard she only wormed her way into the academy to get close to Shangguan. Didn't she get rejected by the second Miss Shangguan half a month ago? Why hasn't she given up yet? If it wasn't to get closer to him, why would she bother dirtying her hands in a crowd of men? And now look at the result. She's dragged the Imperial Academy's reputation through the mud. A total femme fatale. You look like a stranger, little sister. Whose family are you from? Why are you so quiet? I suppose you haven't heard about Yu Luo's latest embarrassing disaster yet, have you? Want to hear about it? No thanks. Don't be scared, little sister. She hasn't arrived yet. So we can talk about her behind her back, and she won't ever know. That's because I am Yu Luo, the left Prime Minister, the Grand Marshal of the Cavalry, and the third Miss. You have arrived. Luo. I just heard from some palace folks that the Imperial Academy suffered a crushing defeat in the tournament. Is that for real? Yeah, it was a pretty thorough loss. Well done. That's our Luo for you. I tell my second brother to keep his face straight, unless he wants everyone to know exactly what we're hoping for. Are we really wishing for them to turn into a bunch of weaklings? The Emperor holding a banquet at a time like this definitely spells trouble. I laugh to myself. But Luo, don't you worry. Just leave everything to us. Don't you worry about a thing, third sister. He scoffs, turning to Shangguan. He asks if he's seen how beautiful the third Miss Yu is. So why on earth would he want to deal with that fourth Miss Yu who's always chasing after him? I internally scream for him to stop talking about Yu Luo. It's enough to make me lose my appetite. I sigh. He asks who that dashing little beauty next to the third Miss Yu is. She's wearing martial arts gear. Not a drop of makeup. Yet she has such a refined, ethereal aura about her. The Emperor has arrived. He tells everyone to rise, explaining that today's banquet is first to show appreciation for his ministers, and second, to welcome back the students and teachers from the martial arts tournament. The Emperor asks if there is something urgent they wish to report to him. The speaker argues that the academy is the training ground for our nation's future. Yet this tournament resulted in a total collapse, and we've lost all face. It is clearly the result of incompetent instruction. Having a woman as an instructor is fundamentally against the rights, and never in history has such a thing been done. He begs His Majesty to immediately dismiss Yu Luo from her teaching position and find someone more capable instead. He wonders how a woman could possibly teach martial arts to men. It is absolutely ridiculous. If it weren't for Yu's inept teaching, how could our academy boys be so pathetic? Looking at Yu Sengluo, I knew she'd cause some kind of trouble the moment she stepped into the academy. If she couldn't act like a proper prime minister's daughter, why did she have to run off to the Imperial Academy? It's honestly hilarious. My brothers hear them talking about me like this, and they are about to lose their minds. I interrupt, saying that regarding what Magistrate Zhou just said, I'm afraid I have to respectfully disagree. Looking at Yu Sengluo, I knew she'd cause some kind of trouble the moment she stepped into the academy. She couldn't just be a proper prime minister's daughter. She had to run off to the academy to wave swords around. Now that she's made such a fool of herself, she's only getting what she deserves. These pathetic little barbs wouldn't even register as a tickle compared to training in the special forces. I wait for the tide of impeachment to swell higher, waiting for more officials to stand up, waiting for the perfect excuse for them to finally fire me. Regarding what Magistrate Zhou said, I'm afraid I have to respectfully disagree. What right does a woman like you have to discuss matters of the court? I am not discussing state affairs. Magistrate Zhou is impeaching me, so doesn't it stand to reason that I have the right to defend myself? Or does Magistrate Zhou believe that the accuser gets to speak, while the accused has no right to a defense? You claim the Imperial Academy lost because of my poor instruction, but I'd like to ask you, Magistrate Zhou, in your opinion, how talented were these Class A students to begin with? The students of the Imperial Academy are naturally all top-tier talents. Otherwise, how could they have won for the past 2 years? Top-tier talents, you say? Magistrate Zhou, are you aware that, aside from Sikong Jinhong, Yin Sassoon, and the other 3, everyone else who stepped onto the stage was taken down in a single move by their opponent? I have only been at the academy for half a month. Half a month, you understand? What kind of transformation could you possibly expect for a bunch of spoiled brats who get defeated in a single strike? Or does Magistrate Zhou believe that in half a month, you can turn trash into a literal god? How dare you compare the academy students to trash? I never said they were trash. I'm saying that was their baseline strength all along. If they held the title for the last 2 years, you know the reason for that as well as anyone else. Don't you, Magistrate Zhou? You are just making baseless accusations. I scoff. What are you staring at? I ask if I'm just spouting nonsense, or if a quick test will prove it one way or the other. I dare to request that your Majesty grant me permission to test their skills on the spot. The Emperor asks how I propose to do that. I tell him the Class A students are already waiting outside the hall, so I invite His Majesty to choose any of them he likes. We'll have some students from the other ministries spar with them. The rules are simple. Neither side is allowed to reveal their status or identity. Only their actual strength matters here. If the Class A students lose, I will accept my punishment willingly and leave the Imperial Academy immediately. But if they win, I respectfully request that your Majesty finally grants me the justice I deserve. He grants my request. He asks Magistrate Zhou if there is anyone in his residence who can take on the challenge. Magistrate Zhou says he has a son, who goes by the name of Zhou Yuan, who has been training in martial arts since he was a child, so he has a bit of a foundation. Fine, then call him out. Lin Feng, you're up. After you. After you. I ask Magistrate Zhou if he has anything else to say. He stammers that this is impossible. I remind him that anything is possible. If the Class A students lost the match, it's not because they've regressed in their training, but rather because they've never truly had to face a real opponent until today. Your Majesty, I have nothing more to say on the matter. If you still believe I am not fit for this position, then I suppose I have no choice but to accept it. The Emperor rules that Yu Sengluo is to stay at the Imperial Academy, and her teaching position will remain unchanged. I thank the Emperor. But I know the real test is still waiting for me. There are plenty more people watching me from the shadows than just Magistrate Zhou. My sister worries that I was way too reckless today. She says that exposing those officials in front of everyone is going to earn me a lot of enemies. I tell my sister that they were never going to let me go anyway. Instead of waiting for them to plot against me in the dark, I might as well take the fight to them face to face. At the very least, next time they want to strike, They'll have to think twice about it. She agrees, in her own way. My brother laughs, saying the look on old man Zhou's face was priceless. He just wishes he'd caught it on camera. He would have been laughing for a year. I tease my second brother, telling him his face was even funnier. Like I didn't see that. Father calls me over. He says it's time to go home. He mentions that he's heard all about how I handled things in the throne room today. He says if your mother were still here, she would certainly be proud of you. I ask him if he's not angry with me for being so impulsive. He replies that the daughter of consort you should be exactly like that. But he warns me to remember one thing. The emperor keeping you around isn't because you won that match, but because you still have your uses. He tells me to go and get some rest. I wonder about that girl who said her surname was Luo. Surname Luo? Are you from the washing hall too? In the royal court, there are no secrets. Just some things we aren't meant to know. I ask what he's thinking about. The master of the washing hall pays a late-night visit, asking what business he has with me. He says he's just here to share some information. He tells me to relax, because if he wanted to kill me, I wouldn't be standing here right now. Anyone can talk big. I demand to know who he actually is. Luo. Do you really not recognize me anymore? You remember me? How can you be here? After I died, I opened my eyes and found myself in this world, reborn as the crown prince of the Jioshan kingdom, with the name Mei Baitzi. I've been searching for you for so many years, until Yexiao and Yang found that female teacher at the Imperial Academy and mentioned your name. Do you remember everything from before? I remember it all. Even, I'm in love with you. I didn't get the chance to say it in our last life, and I don't want to miss that chance again in this one. Mei Baitzi, that is your name now. In our past life, you were my comrade in arms, and in this life, you are my brother, and that will never change. You understand exactly what I mean, don't you? To me, you will always be that little bae who needs my protection. But we can only ever be comrades. He nods, saying he understands. I ask myself, wait, what is the Luoxing Hall's true objective? The Jioshan Emperor wants to use the soul-hooking powder to control the Jiojin kingdom, don't they? And you? Are you their accomplice? He says his mother is currently in the Jioshan Emperor's hands, so he has no choice but to take orders from them. But he insists he never touched the soul-hooking powder itself, as those poisons were actually planted by the Emperor's own secret agents. I tell him I believe him. In our past life, you took a bullet for me, so I trust you wouldn't try to hurt me in this one. He calls my name, Luo, promising he will wait for me. Fate really does have a twisted sense of humor. System, you knew about this the whole time, didn't you? It stammers that it only found out later, I swear. I ask why it didn't tell me. It says it was afraid my emotional instability would derail the mission. I warn it that if it tries to hide things from me again, it and I are going to have a serious problem. I let out an annoyed sound. One of the servants tells me someone left this at the front gate. Soul-hooking powder, those wolf cubs at the Imperial Academy. My attendant reminds me I haven't even had breakfast yet. I skip breakfast, order my horse, and head for the Imperial Academy. They call out that teacher Yu has finally returned, begging me to come take a look, because something has gone terribly wrong in Class A. I let out an urgent sound. I ask what's happening. I order everyone to stay right where they are. Lock down the classroom immediately. Nobody enters or leaves. Get the royal physician, and make it quick, and find out exactly who visited the academy last night, to see if any intruders snuck in. One of the students asks if he's going to die. I tell him as long as I'm here, you're not going anywhere. I call my student inside. I tell him to shut the door behind him. I demand to know if he did this. He says yes and no. I tell him to explain, or else. He says the Luoxing Hall forced him to poison the class, but he insists he didn't actually do it. They handed him the soul-hooking powder, but he swapped the medicine. I ask what he swapped it with. He says just ordinary laxatives. He just wanted them to have a few days of diarrhea, which is better than losing their lives, he argues. I ask what poison they're suffering from now then. He says he doesn't know, because that's not what he gave them. I ask him when exactly he got the soul-hooking powder. 3 days ago, Yi Xiao handed it to me personally. He said if I didn't follow through, he'd kill you. He cries that I'm the only person who's ever been kind to him. And he just couldn't bring himself to do it. I tell him I appreciate that, but you still lied to me. You had every opportunity to tell me, but you chose to keep it a secret. If it hadn't been laxatives, but the real soul-hooking powder instead, you would have regretted this for the rest of your life. He apologizes, but I tell him this isn't the time for recriminations. You have to do something for me, and find out who the real poisoner is. He promises he will. The hall master receives news that something has gone wrong at the Imperial Academy. Someone beat us to it and planted the soul-hooking powder first. The target wasn't the Class A students, but the entire Imperial Academy itself. It wasn't my men. It was secret agents sent by the Jiushang Emperor. They went behind our backs. So he dares to do this? My subordinate says he's already sent people to investigate, but these agents are deeply embedded, and it won't be easy to root them out. I issue my order. All members of the Luoxing Hall are to hunt down these Jiushang agents at all costs. Find them and kill them on sight. Understood. Luo must be incredibly worried right now. This toxin is extremely aggressive, and if we can't find an antidote within 3 days, I ask if there's any known antidote. The physician says the recipe for this poison is bizarre, and he has never seen it before in his life. Unless we can get our hands on the actual antidote, I tell them I'll handle the antidote situation. You just focus on keeping their condition stable. Whatever you do, don't let their condition get any worse. My system tells me it can only analyze the chemical composition, but it doesn't have the capability to synthesize an antidote. It insists that I need the original antidote for that. The student tells me they've tracked down the person who planted the poison. He managed to slip into the kitchen last night, disguised as one of the food delivery workers, and then disappeared this morning, leaving no trace behind. I ask the system if it can lock onto his exact location. It tells me that it can, but it's going to take some time. 1 hour. That'll be enough. Keep a close watch for me, and don't let anyone in or out of the classroom. I'm heading out for a bit. They call out, asking where I'm going. To find the antidote. They beg me to promise to come back safely. I ask the system if it can lock onto the specific coordinates. It snaps back that it's just a system, not a GPS tracker. I ask, what exactly are you good for then? It says it's here to keep me company and cure my boredom. The poison is set, and in 3 days, those young masters will be finished. The Jiushang court will be thrown into complete chaos. I tell them to keep it down. Walls have ears, but they tell me not to worry about it. They say nobody in their right mind would ever come to this dump. The Luoxing Hall shopkeeper doesn't seem very cooperative. I scoff, telling them the crown prince of Jiushang is just a puppet anyway, and with his mother still in the emperor's hands, he wouldn't dare disobey us. We just have to wait to collect our reward. I launch my surprise attack. They scream, asking who's there. I tell them all to get over here. I let out a series of threatening sounds. I keep up the pressure. I continue my rhythmic, aggressive display. He gasps, asking if I am Yusengluo. I chuckle, surprised they actually know who I am. I guess you've been doing your homework. Are you trying to run? Keep running, what's the matter? They stammer, demanding to know who I am. I'm your grandmother, haven't I told you already? I'm sure I mentioned it. The antidote for the soul-hooking powder. Now, the evidence is overwhelming. So you only have one choice. Give me the antidote formula. I promise to make your life a living hell if you don't. He shouts that I wouldn't dare, since he's an envoy of the Jiushang kingdom, and threatening him will have consequences. An envoy? A food delivery grunt like you has no business calling himself an envoy. This is your final chance. I tell him I've made my vows. They ask if the hall master sent them to catch me, or if they were meant to kill me. They're here to help me. Wait, You aren't with the Zhoshang Emperor? The Zhoshang Emperor is one thing, but the Hall Master is another. The Hall Master never wanted to hurt you with the soul-hooking powder. He was forced into it. His mother is being held by the Emperor. And if he doesn't obey, the Queen will die. So what are you saying? They cry out to me, Teacher Yu. We really want to help you. The Hall Master told us that from now on, the Luoxing Hall is at your command. We are all at your service, Teacher Yu. The Hall Master said, there is only one person in this world who could ever make him bow his head willingly, and that person is you. Fine, but I have conditions. From this moment on, you take orders from me. Any action at all, you do not act without my approval. Yes, of course. Your first task, take them back to the Luoxing Hall and get them to talk. I want to know every single stronghold those agents have. Teacher Yu, that punch you threw earlier was amazing. Could you teach me how to do that? Let's focus on taking care of your Hall Master first, all right? They've brought the Hall Master back. They've already broken the agents. There are 3 strongholds in total, in the east, the west, and the south of the city. The leader goes by the name of Black Snake, the personal bodyguard of the Zhoshang Emperor. A personal bodyguard, huh? The Father Emperor certainly has high expectations for me, doesn't he? I ask Luo what he thinks. The strongholds in the east, west, and south form a triangle, and they all protect each other like horns on a bull. If we only attack one point, the other 2 will definitely come to their rescue. We need to strike all 3 at the exact same time, and finish this quickly. But we don't have enough people to hit all 3 places at once. Who said anything about attacking them? We're here for the antidote, not to burn the place to the ground. We've already taken the stronghold in the west, and secured the formula, so for the east and south strongholds, I'll have your people disguise themselves as their own men and infiltrate from within. We catch them off guard, neutralize the leaders, and grab the final antidote. It's doable. Wait, I'm coming with you. It's too dangerous, no? Do you doubt my abilities? I'm just worried about you. Don't worry, I'm too hard to kill. There's no news from Feng Shi's side yet. I can't get through to them. I'm afraid something's gone wrong. You useless trash, you said it was foolproof. Maybe we should just pull out? The mission isn't finished, so going back empty-handed means death anyway. Who's there? Just the delivery guy? Where's the antidote? Don't even dream of it. Fine, then have it your way. And let me help you experience the wonders of soul-hooking powder firsthand. It's in the secret drawer of the cabinet. Got it. Teacher Yu, working for you is way more of a thrill than working for the shopkeeper. That's enough. If the shopkeeper knew you were saying stuff like that, he'd skin you alive. Teacher Yu, I really thought I was going to meet the King of Hell today. The King of Hell doesn't want you. He says you're too loud. This whole incident ends right here. Anyone who dares to breathe a word about this, I'll make sure they spend the rest of their life in bed. We wouldn't dare, teacher. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. From now on, if anything happens, tell me first. Let's go. Extra rations tonight. Dinner's on me at the Zuishan Tower. I hear their braised pork knuckles are fantastic. Teacher Yu, I want to go too. Stay in bed. You lot are all patients. Go to the training grounds and run your laps. Ow, ow, ow. It takes 100 days to recover from a serious injury. And you're trying to run after just one day? Get back in bed. Teacher Yu, I was poisoned. My legs aren't actually broken. Poisoned people need their rest even more. If you keep yapping, I'm adding another 10 laps. Teacher, what do you intend to do? I intend to go confess my guilt. Confess to whom? The Emperor. I committed a mistake, and someone has to take responsibility for it. Fine, I'll go with you. Don't misunderstand, teacher. I'm not here to accompany you to your death. I'm going with you to demand some justice. Listen to me closely. Even though you were part of the plan, you swapped out the poison, and you saved everyone's life. That is not a crime. That is a service to this nation. If the Emperor wants to punish you, he'll have to ask the Imperial Academy students if they agree with it first. Teacher, why are you being so kind to me? Because you're worth it. Enough, let's stop stalling. Let's head to the palace. Your Majesty, Teacher Yu Sengluo of the Imperial Academy requests an audience. and she has brought the ninth prince along with her. Ninth Prince Yin Zhonghua is here to see you, your majesty. I offer my respects. What is the meaning of this? I have committed a crime. Your majesty, I was coerced by others and participated in the poisoning plot. Although I did not actually administer the poison, I knew about it and failed to report it. I deserve death for my silence. Who coerced you? Luoxing Hall, I scoff. Luoxing Hall? Are you talking about that underground organization built by the Crown Prince of Jiushang? Do you have any idea what the consequences are for saying that out loud? I'm fully aware, your majesty. If you wish to pass judgment, I have nothing left to say. Instructor you. What is your take on this? Your majesty, I believe the ninth prince is not only innocent. He's actually done us a service. A service? By replacing the poison with laxatives, it avoided a major tragedy. He turned himself in voluntarily, confessed everything, and that proves he truly regrets his actions. Your majesty, if you punish him now, who would ever dare to step forward and admit their mistakes in the future? Raise your head. Instructor you say he performed a service, so tell me then, what exactly did he do? The ninth prince protected dozens of lives. That is his first service. He turned himself in and exposed the Luoxing Hall's conspiracy. That is his second service. Despite his low status, he held the 9 regions in his heart. That is his third service. 3 services combined are enough to offset his guilt. You're certainly quick with the math, aren't you? Do you have anything else to add? I wish to enroll in the Imperial Academy's martial wing to study martial arts under Teacher Yu. And the day I master these skills, I will go to the 9 regions kingdom to guard the borders and pay for my sins that way. Are you sure? He says he is, and the emperor grants it. Don't be in such a rush to thank his majesty. You may have been spared the punishment, but I expect results at the Imperial Academy. If you don't show any progress, I'll have you punished just the same. He promises not to let his majesty down. Teacher, is he really not going to punish me? What? You want to be punished? Don't get your hopes up. His majesty said, you need to show results. And if you don't hit the mark, you're still going to be punished. I will do my best. Good, then let's go. Back to training. From this day forward, Yin Zhonghua is officially a member of Class A. Anyone who bullies him is going to have a problem with me. And don't think this means you get special treatment. Your training regimen is the exact same as theirs. Everyone, run 10 laps to warm up. They say they understand. Brother, why are you running so fast? It's not like anyone is chasing you. My system wonders if I'm being too nice to him. If this kid doesn't have someone helping him, he's really going to go down a dark path. Today, the martial arts tournament restarts. I look forward to seeing your best efforts. We need to make the top 10. Is that all you've got? Top 10? I'm aiming for the top 5. Actually, no, I mean the championship. Teacher you, last time we were taken down in a single move. That was last time. This time will be different. You've been training for a month. If you don't even have the confidence, you might as well get out now. I can win. I will win. Did you hear that? The 9th prince says he's going to win. What about you guys? We're going to win too. Yes, victory. I scoff. It's settled, then. The goal is the championship. Today, the tournament resumes. His Majesty looks forward to all the school's performances. We use a challenge advancement format, where lower-ranked schools can challenge the top 10, and the winner takes the spot. Losers keep their previous rank. First round, Imperial Academy. You're up against the 10th-ranked school. My name is Lin Ergu, please advise. I give them a polite, mocking smile, inviting them to start. One strike after another, they're going down like dominoes. This time, the one getting taken down isn't our academy. It's the opponent. I won. We won. We actually won. The winner is the Huiwang Academy. Lin Ergu. He asks if he's dreaming. Teacher you? I tell him if it's not a dream, then keep on fighting hard. This is only the first match. They're like completely different people compared to a month ago. It seems Yusang Luo really does have a few tricks up her sleeve. Round 4, Imperial Academy versus the 3rd-ranked Shengdang Academy. I'll take this one. Who is that guy? I don't think I've ever seen him before. Wait, is that the 9th prince? The one who's been rotting away in the literary wing? I let out a sound of exertion. The winner is Yin Yin from Huiwang Academy. The ninth prince actually knows martial arts? Who is it that said he was useless? Come out and say it to my face. Stop the brown nosing. Go get some rest. The next match is the critical one. All thanks to your training, teacher. Round 5. Guozijian versus the second-ranked Zhidao Academy. My name is Sikong Maodan. Please advise. Enough chatter. Come and get some. 1. I scoff. You've got a lot of strength in that strike. This is getting interesting. I yield. The winner is Sikong Jinhong of the Huiwang Academy. This Huiwang Academy is way too strong, aren't they? Well, changing the teacher clearly makes a world of difference. Haha, the final round. Imperial Academy versus the top-ranked Hongwen Academy. My name is Fire Chicken Head. Please advise. After you. I dodge. I block. You should just give up now. Come at me again. Crown Prince Yen Suishuan. He's on your left. Watch his thumb. It twitches before he throws a punch. I land the strike. It's a tie, so both sides add a round. A tie? Never mind, I concede. To think he could improve this much in just a single month. I'm no match for him. The Crown Prince wins. Long live the boss. Get out of here. These wolf cubs didn't disappoint me after all. The Huiwang Academy, or rather, the Imperial Academy's Class A, gave us a performance worth remembering this year. You've worked hard, teacher you. You are too kind, Your Majesty. Your Majesty, your humble servant has a request. Mei Baitzi, the master of the Luoxing Hall. You audacious rebel, how dare you set foot in this place? I am here to challenge Instructor Yu to a duel, to see if she is truly worth the things I've chosen to sacrifice. Instructor Yu, what do you say? I accept your challenge. Do you think Teacher Yu can win? I don't know, that guy's strength is unfathomable. What are we going to do? Just watch, Luo Luo. I won't be holding anything back. I don't need you to hold anything back, either. Why are you going easy on me? Because I can't bring myself to hurt you. You win, I lose. Your Majesty, I surrender to the 9 regions. Effective today, the Luoxing Hall is disbanded. And the soul-hooking powder formula has been destroyed. Any remaining traces have been confiscated. Granted, that lunatic finally did something halfway decent for once. Sure, that display of fighting off multiple opponents was impressive, but the real soul is that lady teacher who was directing the whole fight from the sidelines. Your Majesty, I have a report to make. Although Mei Baitzi has surrendered, he's been operating in the 9 regions for years, and he has countless cronies. If we don't root them all out, there will be trouble later. I request an imperial decree to conduct a thorough investigation into the Luoxing Hall's remnants. Granted. I'm handing this matter over to the High Court. Do any of my ministers have anything else to report? Your Majesty, I have a confession. Minister Yu, what crime are you confessing to? The intention to commit treason. Yes, the left Prime Minister's residence has been secretly amassing power for years, cultivating allies, all with the intent of committing treason. I asked Minister Yu if he has any idea what he is saying. If that's the case, why did you choose to step down voluntarily today? I've thought it through, and treason is just self-destruction. I have a nation to serve, and children, but my family is innocent in all of this. Minister Yu, do you have any proof of this treason you speak of? These are the letters I've exchanged with several court ministers, all of which can serve as testimony. Magistrate Zhou, do you have anything to say for yourself? He stammers that he's been framed. He insists the left Prime Minister is trying to frame him. Frame you, Magistrate Zhou? There's more than just this one letter documenting our correspondence. If your Majesty sends someone to search your estate, I'm sure you'll find plenty more. Guards, take Magistrate Zhou into custody and throw him in the high court for trial. He begs for his majesty's mercy. He admits his guilt. He keeps crying that he is innocent. Is there anyone else who has corresponded with consort you? Stand forward now, and I might just be lenient with my punishment. Strip these men of their ranks and titles, throw them in the dungeon, and interrogate them thoroughly. Minister you, although you turned yourself involuntarily, treason is a crime that I cannot easily forgive. I accept my punishment, however. The treason you speak of, now that I think about it, seems to have a hidden side to it. Why wait until now? I have been on the throne for over 20 years, and you hold the military power in your hands. If you truly had treacherous intentions, you would have made your move long ago. Tell me, what was your real objective? Your Majesty is wise. I truly did not wish to commit treason. I only used the name of treason to force your Majesty to root out the corruption in this court. The court is filled with deep-seated corruption, where corrupt officials collude and prey upon the common people. If we don't clean this up now, the 9 regions kingdom is finished. I have petitioned your Majesty many times to fix the bureaucracy, but it was like a stone tossed into the ocean. I had no other options, so I was forced to use this desperate measure, using treason as a wake-up call. My loyalty to your Majesty is as clear as the sun and moon. Minister you, what crime could you possibly have committed? It was I who was blinded by treacherous ministers. Hear my decree. Starting today, root out all corruption in the court, no matter their rank or position. All will be punished without exception. Minister you, you have suffered a great injustice. Your Majesty is truly wise. Teacher you, your father wasn't punished at all. In fact, the emperor named him the Grand Tutor and called him a loyal minister. Teacher you, your father is amazing. That's my father, after all. Stop the idle chatter and keep training. Anyone who slacks off gets 10 extra laps. Yes, teacher, we're running. We're running. You're back, old man. You really kept this a secret from me. You never intended to commit treason at all, did you? Nothing gets past you, does it? I had to keep you in the dark. If the act wasn't convincing, those human-shaped vultures in court would have sniffed out the truth instantly. Luo, the best thing I ever did in this life was keeping you by my side. Enough with the sappy stuff, you're messing up my hair. Father, don't ever gamble with your life again. My brothers and I can't survive without you. All right, no more sap. I hear your performance at the Imperial Academy has been quite good. Even the Emperor had words of praise for you. All right, I promise you one thing. What is it? Father, I want to experience training in the military camp. Why? I finally understood that as the Crown Prince, I shouldn't just be focused on pleasure. The kingdom needs me. The people need me. And I need to learn some real, practical skills. I need these skills if I'm ever going to protect this kingdom. But before you head off to the military camp, there's someone you need to thank. I hear you're off to the military camp? Yes, that's good. The military will temper your spirit. Maybe you'll actually be a man by the time you get back. Teacher you, I really owe you a debt of gratitude. Think nothing of it. Now get going. Don't go embarrassing the Imperial Academy, and he says he wouldn't dream of it. That kid is finally starting to look like a real man. My system asks why I didn't stop him. Because he needs to find his own path. That's a weight off my shoulders, at least. Lulu, I'm heading back to the Joseon Kingdom. I know. My mother is still held captive by the Joseon Emperor. And I have to save her. The journey ahead is perilous. And I don't know if I'll make it back. You will come back, I'm certain of it. Do you really have that much faith in me? It's not faith in you. It's just faith that you haven't paid me back for everything you owe yet. Fair enough. I will return alive. My system wonders if I'm feeling a little reluctant to let him go. Maybe just a little, I admit. But he has his own journey to walk, just as I have mine. If our paths cross again, then it's fate, and if not, there's no need to force it. Teacher, what kind of combat practice are we doing today? Pair up into groups of 2, and prepare for live combat drills. Ninth Prince, please go easy on me. They agree. I offer a sharp scoff. That's some incredible speed. Not bad, keep it up. Laughter bursts out as they ask if I've heard the rumors. They say that woman teacher at the academy is a celestial dancer descended from the heavens, and others claim she's a disciple of a hidden master. I can't help but roll my eyes at all this nonsense. My system notes that I'm quite the celebrity now. It says that just proves how popular I am. So because I'm a celebrity, I have to put up with all this gossip? Teacher you. Not bad. You're making progress. Boss, are you cheating or something? It's just that you're too weak. Laughter erupts around me again. These wolf cubs have finally grown up. Are you really leaving? Teacher you, we're going to miss you so much. Laughter breaks out because Teacher you is actually smiling. Is my smiling really that strange? They tell me it's not strange. It's just that they've never seen me do it before. Remember this. Wherever you go in the future, never forget that you are part of Class A of the Imperial Academy. Have pride, but don't be arrogant. Be tough, but don't bully the weak. And don't forget, your lives were saved by me. We'll never forget it, Teacher you. We'll come back to visit you often. Yeah, I'm way too busy with training, so I won't have time to entertain you folks. The laughter grows even louder. My system chuckles, asking, are you feeling a little bit sad to see them go? Maybe a little. I'm not made of stone, after all. Off you go. I've got a new badge to train tomorrow. My system wonders what they'll turn out to be like. I don't know, but they'll definitely be better than they are now. I am your martial arts instructor. My surname is Yu. From this day forward, you only need to remember 3 rules. Obedience. Complete obedience. Absolute obedience. Did you hear me clearly? They shout their response back to me. Louder. I need to hear it louder. Excellent. Now run 10 laps around the field. If you don't finish, don't even think about lunch. Laughter erupts.